Hello, everyone. I'm Michelle Downs from Divine by Michelle. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about um, expectations and one-way bargains. We are in relationship to everything. We're in relationship to our car, our toaster, our house, our job, not just people. We're also in relationship with our family, brothers, sisters, mother, father, significant others, etc., etc. The kind of relationship we have with our car, our job, our toaster is really easy to talk about. Expectations. When we wake up, we expect our coffee maker to work. We expect our toaster to work for our breakfast. We expect to get in our car and everything runs smoothly. We get to our destination easily. When we start talking about our job, our relationship with our job could be a different set of expectations, that it provides us what we need financially. We could expect that we get a raise every year, or every 60 days, 90 days. We could expect that our job helps us to continue to excel and grow and promote us up the company chain, up the company ladder. These are all expectations. These are not necessarily what is truth or what is happening. Now, if we talk about more significant relationships, like our family, our brothers and sisters, and mother and father, we may expect our mother to and father to provide for us, to always listen, to help us through difficult times. And these are expectations again. Our family, every single human has a life purpose, and we are all living and learning as we go. We are all making choices day to day, moment to moment. We have our ups and downs. We have our struggles and successes. And we change over time. So these expectations that we have had, since we were 7, hopefully have changed and adjusted and become more true as we've gotten older. Possibly we've become more independent and more realized on the choices we make ourselves that affect our future, that have helped us to be independent and responsible for the actual life we are creating. When we talk about significant other relationships, as in the loves of our lives, our husbands, our wives, boyfriends, girlfriends, those kinds of things. When we come into a relationship or a dating kind of situation, we come in to these relationships with a flood of emotion that is changing chemicals in our brain and in our body, chemical attraction, a feeling of, can be overwhelming, as in a catalyst of undeniable attraction and desire to constantly be with this other person. And these emotions and these chemical reactions flood our system. And I think this is part of why there's a saying that says love is blind. We have this undesirable need to be with each other and kind of proceed with a relationship, even though it may be short. It might be long term or it might be short. These emotions and these chemical reactions take us to a point that we desire to be. So spiritually, there's a reason why we're attracted to the person we're attracted to and why we feel this feeling of undeniable attachment. And it kind of clouds our judgment in a sense, which is good and bad. We often bring to these new and in love relationships, a lot of communication about what we want, what our dreams are, who we are, even if it's not really known by ourselves who we are. We talk about it. We may talk about, in the future, I want kids, I want to be married, I want to be single or with someone, but not with someone. And maybe it's that you want to travel the world. So you come together with this person in some kind of a relationship, long term or not, and we allow this flood of emotions and chemical reactions, and love and lust and attachment. And we overlook sometimes what the other person has said that they would really like. This may be that they don't want to be married and you wanted to be married, but you are so in this love and this attachment and this flood of emotion that it just doesn't matter what they said. Right now, you just want to be with them. And say in 6 months or a year, this newness of this relationship, this chemical flood of emotions and chemicals has changed. You don't feel that every time you see this person anymore, but you're comfortable. You're comfortable with this person. You want to be with this person, and possibly it feels like you're married in a sense. You have what some people call the significant other relationship. That is, you come home to the same house, or you meet up after work and on the weekends, and you enjoy each other's company, you do things together. And you may find about after a year and a half, that you are still individuals. Like before you met, you're individuals and you've come together. And you may have still an expectation that you said you wanted to be married, or you said you didn't want to have a singular relationship or sexual companion. And you're finding that you're feeling a little, you start to question the relationship, or you start to feel a little bit that you're doing things and it's not being rewarded with this expectation that you had that things would progress the way you ideally wanted them to. Say everything's fine for the first 5 years. Fine is a good way to describe it when you're not completely fulfilled in your expectation. There may be a point where you bring up, when we got together, I mentioned this, I really wanted this. And you may feel like you start to deny yourself what you are really looking for in life. And you've already attached that this person has to give this to you. It's not as if before you met that you were responsible for giving yourself something. And it all comes down to these beliefs, these belief systems. Maybe we were raised with the belief that you need to be married, and you have a belief that the husband is the provider, or you have a belief that both of you are equally providers, or you have a belief that after a certain amount of years you have to be married, or a belief that a year and a half is long enough for a relationship before you have to move on and experience other relationships and people. And the reason I'm talking about this is because just to remind people, we have expectations all the time: the toaster, the car, our job. And when we don't get our expectations, we may become resentful, we may become angry at another person because they're not providing us, they're not feeding us this expectation. A lot of it, I think, is just self-love and self-responsibility, and being independent, your own individual independent being filled yourself, being a whole human being coming together with another whole human being without expectation of the other to fill your void, to fill this position. And when we get into these relationships, we talk about these things and we're still flooded with these emotions and kind of ignoring maybe a little bit of what we said. But we generally don't talk about what we expect from the other person. We talk about what we want, but we don't say, in 5 years, I expect I'm going to be married. And if we stay together, this needs to be you. And in, once we move in together, I expect you are the person who takes out the garbage. And I expect you are the person who pays half the bills or 75% of the bills. And I expect that you compliment me, and I expect that you provide me flowers and remember our anniversary and my birthday. And so we don't talk about our expectations, all related to our beliefs and possibility of how we were raised, that helped create these expectations. We just come together in the flood of emotions and love. We say what we want, and then we later down the road get resentful that we're not being filled from someone else. So this is just a reminder to look at your relationships and look at the good parts. Look at, do I feel loved by this person? Or am I expecting to feel loved only if they do certain things because of my expectations? Would I feel better outside of this relationship, or would I be looking for someone else to provide this emotion, to fill my void, to fill my expectation? Or shall I take it on myself, love myself, know myself, learn to know thyself, become filled with love in myself, be a whole person, knowing what I want to create day to day, moment to moment, be responsible for my emotions and my thoughts and my creations. be in the moment to enjoy the gifts of the presence of this other person? Could I feel better on my own as an independent person? Or could I feel better in this relationship as two whole people? Because I enjoy the other person. I enjoy their mind, their gestures, their wisdom, their love, their hugs, anything else like that. So I just felt the need to talk about, our beliefs, how we grew up, our relationships to everything, our communication, our expectations that we most likely did not discuss with any of them, any of the relationships we have, our one-way bargains, our expectations that weren't agreed to by the other person. There's a thought for the day. Thank you for listening. Have a beautiful day.